Good day. I welcome you to this series of examination curriculum Campus 101. Today, we are actually going to be looking at poetry. And the first we are going to actually consider is the African poetry by Niyi Oshundare. And the title is The Leader and the Led. Now, The Leader and the Led is a poem that borders on the choice of good leader in a given society. Now, Africa happens to be one of the leading continents when it comes to bad leadership. Niyi Oshundare actually skillfully used secondary characters in this poem to actually decide how a worthy leader should look like. Now he starts in his first verses. Now he starts in his first verse by introducing the lion who stepped forward to lay its claim to be the leader of the animal pack. Now immediately, other animals actually made mention of his ferocious pounce on smaller animals. Now after that, hyena stepped forward that he wants to be the leader of the animals. They remember that hyena has a very dangerous appetite. Shortly after that, elephant stepped forward that he needs to take the leadership position of the pack. Now the other animals remember that an elephant is with a trampling feet, so it's not worthy to be their leader. Then zebra stepped forward that it's also a worthy candidate to be the leader of the animals. Now they remember that it has duplicity of stripes, so it cannot be the leader of the animals. Then a warthog stepped forward. Then they now remember that warthog is actually too ugly to be their leader. Then a rhino stepped forward that he wants to be the leader of the animals. Then they remember that rhino is too riotous, so he cannot be the leader of the animals. And that is how it continues. And the animals couldn't find a worthy leader, because every animal that stepped forward to actually want to be the leader of the animals has one flaw or the other. So eventually they couldn't find any animal that is flawless. Now the forest sage take it upon himself to actually tell the candidates who deem themselves worthy to be the leader of the animals that a kind of leader they want as followers is actually a leader that has a little bit of a lion and a little bit of a lamb. A leader that is actually as tough as a tiger and is also very compassionate like a dog. A leader that knows how to follow. And of course, they also need followers who are very mindful of their right to lead. That is the kind of society that is deemed as an ideal society. Now, Niyi Oshundare skillfully used these animals to actually expose the kind of political situation we have in Africa, where we have leaders who are not mindful of the need of the citizens. Leaders who practically trample on the head of those people they are leading. And of course, this poem is also an allegory. An allegory is a kind of poem that actually makes use of secondary character. And we can see the secondary character Niyi Oshundare actually used in this particular literary work are animals, which actually wants to be the leader in their pack. Now, very quickly to the setting of this poetry. Now, the geographical setting of this poetry is actually the animal kingdom. Of course, where animals live. And the periodic setting of this poem is actually the post-colonial era, when Africans started ruling Africans, when Africa has been recognized as one of the continents that actually suffers from bad leadership. Now, as you have seen, that the animals couldn't come out with a worthy leader. Now, very quickly to the thematic analysis of this poem. Now, of course, this poem has several themes. The first theme is the choice of leadership. As you have seen, that the choice of leadership is not an easy task. Several animals who deem themselves fit and able to lead the animals actually step forward, but each of these animals are with one flaw or the other, which means there's no one without flaw. Now, for you to be a worthy leader, according to Niyi Oshundare in that poem, you have to have hybrid of characters, and that is, you have to be tough as a tiger, and you have to be compassionate as a doe. For you to be a worthy leader, you also have to be for you to be a worthy leader, you also have to be a bit of a lion and a little bit of a lamb. For you to be a worthy leader, you must know how to follow as well. Now, these are the characteristics that the sage of the forest actually come out with. Now, the sage of the forest actually is a symbolic representative of the masses that suggests the kind of worthy leader they need in the animal park. Now, we move to the second theme. Now, the second theme is actually the theme of followership consciousness. Now, it actually states that as followers or as individuals who will be led by a particular leader, there's need to be conscious. And of course, this consciousness is actually depicted in the poem when the forest sage, as one of the followers, actually come out with the solution that all the animals that step forward are not worthy, because it's either they are riotous or their appetite is too dangerous, or probably they have a trembling feet, or probably their neck is too far from the ground, like that of giraffe, etc., etc. Now, they are conscious of the fact that the kind of leader they need is a leader that has hybrid of characters. Now, a leader that is a bit of compassionate, and of course, a leader that is also tough in a little way. Now, that is actually supposed to be a trait of a good follower. That means, as citizens, we need to actually take active steps in making the choice of leader, and of course, that will actually lead to making a good choice on those who lead us at one point or the other, in accordance with Niyi Oshundare's poem. Now, the third one we are going to look at is actually the imperfect nature of man, and that sums it up, because from when the lion stepped forward, the other animals noticed that it has ferocious palms, of course, killing other animals that are small. And when the giraffe comes out, the neck is too far from the ground. So, which means that there is no one that is perfect. There is no one without a flaw, as it has been actually staged in the poetry work. Each of these animals have their own strengths and they have their own weaknesses. Now, the use of these animals is actually telling how human society is too, and the leaders we choose. Everyone has strength and everyone has weakness. Thank you very much, and God bless you.